The DJ Roundtable Show is live. It's the DJ Roundtable Show. Tell another DJ.
It is 8
about
o'clock.
the show.
It is Tuesday
Please
night.
subscribe.
Do you know where DJ's at? I know where I'm at. I'm here with you. Yes, it is another DJ Roundtable. We have a full house here with DJs. We have a couple other DJs from another show on YouTube. Yes. Oh, God, if I could talk right. We have DJ Pretty Boy and we have Shay here. Yeah, everybody here, give them a big round of applause and welcome them to the DJ Roundtable as
Thanks for having
guests
us,
here.
buddy. Thank you, everyone.
They also have another show on Thursday nights on YouTube, not to be confused with the show over on Twitch from Cool Thing on Thursday nights. So they're have a little competition between two of them, but you can record one and watch the other, or tune in, or try to chat on both, or do something. But both have shows. Make sure that you followed the links down below for them to go to their channels and go to their stuff. We also have some hair cutting and beard trimming going on here, so we had that class today. So we have our lovely couple from Indiana. They're doing some grooming and cooling stuff over there. So
I got to make them pretty for this weekend.
Oh, that's fine.
You ever heard the term there ain't enough hours in a day?
Well, there you go. Again,
There ain't enough hours in a day.
long as you keep it neck above for trimming, nothing below that, we're fine. You know, we'll keep everything G-rated here.
Manscaping.
Come on, where's the
Yeah.
fun in that?
We keep everything G-rated here, so no bad
That's not
words,
nice.
no bad images. Remember, I like to have my granddaughter able to watch the show. Anyways, with that said, speaking of YouTube and all the fun stuff, if you're watching this over on the tubes, please make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you also follow the channel. And also you go to Twitch, follow on Twitch for live. And a few other things for me to do as well. I have a problem with the YouTube algorithm. Now, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing 81% of the people watching the show have not subscribed to the channel. What is with that? It's free. It doesn't cost you nothing. It's free. Subscribe to the channel, support the channel by, sharing it with friends, and make sure that you give it out there. And one other thing also, like I said before, share the video. That helps out a lot. I see people who do share it here and there. I appreciate that, but the more you share it, the more you talk about it, the more you chat down below, the better off we are. I already see Fred is here. Fred, what's going on? Haircut and beard trimming. Yes, that's it. And Pretty Boy is really pretty. Yes, he is.
Thank you. I was expecting that.
Yeah, there you go. My wife thinks that Diego there, Pretty Boy, is like 19 years old. I'm like, no, he's a little older than that. He's a little bit older. So he's a young looking guy, but not about to him. You have Shay as well. If you haven't done so, Shay does really great reviews on equipment. He's done some stuff with mics and stuff like that. And doggles. I watched his channel for a long time. I'm glad to have him on here. He's done some great stuff, and Pretty Boy's done some stuff too. Reviews, unboxing, stuff like that, some gig logs, all the fun stuff on his channel. So make sure you tune in to two of them. The big thing is that Shay, you're in California, and Diego, you're in Virginia, right?
DMV.
Okay.
DMV.
Yep. So he's in the DC area. That's what they call DMV. So you have DC, Baltimore. Yeah, that area right there. I got a chance to spend some time in DC. This is years ago, and out by Dulles Airport. So a little bit familiar. Was out there for a few weeks. Got to know a little bit some stuff out there. So kind of ideas where stuff is at. Very, very cool place. If you ever get a chance to out there, please go to DC. A lot of great history there. Got a chance to go to the National Smithsonian Institute, Smithsonian Air Museum at Dulles. And they had out there the Enola Gay. They had a bunch of aircraft out there. Really, really cool. And the funny thing is that the Enola Gay, you go up on the second or third floor. It's a deck up there. And you actually look into the aircraft. it's not that big. I thought it was going to be, big, huge aircraft. Like it's like smaller than a 737. I was like, really? I thought it was going to be big, like a 747. I thought it was going to be like, a 777, something like that. But no, it's not. It's a decent sized aircraft, not like a little, putt. Trust me. And it's just amazing how in World War II, those brave men up there, um, you know, turned the tide and risked their lives, and unfortunately did lose a lot of them. And if you're a veteran out there, thank you for your service. All those brave men and women, we thank you all who have served this country. Now, with that said, we're gonna have some fun here, and I always have my list of DJ stuff, and I wanted to ask you guys a question. And since I have a bunch of different stuff here, I'm going to pick a rando one because I never know what I'm going to ask. This way, they're not off guard, but it gets your brain to thinking a little bit. And I'm going to ask, what is the best wedding entrance song of all time? What is the song that when you talk to a couple and they say, we don't know what to pick for our entrance song, what is, I'll tell you what, give me two or three. I won't take it down to one. Give me two or three best entrance songs that you feel is great for a wedding. And with that said, I want you guys to think about it for a second or two. So I'm going to go first and just give you some idea. I got a feeling. I do feel that has, it's been around for a while. People love that, especially with the bass drop. With stems, you can take out some of the vocals and drop it out there. Another one is Bring 'Em Out from T.I. Another one. And then I'd probably say my third favorite one is these are the hard ones. There's a bunch of them I have in my mind, and it's like, what are my best three? I'd probably say the third one would probably be probably Cotton Eye Joe for Bringing 'Em Out, just because that upbeat and that bass line and everything like that. Now, I'd rather keep Cotton Eye Joe for the dance floor, but they're really asking for it. They want a country feel. They want that 90s vibe, or they want to have that fun hip hop or fun country feel, or their fun 90s Euro dance feel. That covers a couple of different areas. So I'm going to go over to Sean. Sean, what are your top three favorite songs for intro that you'd recommend to a couple?
I don't really have favorites. I tell them to kind of pick something that's going to suit their personality, whether it's rock, hip hop, whatever. One of my favorites though is song 2, Blur.
Blur?
That is a great upbeat one. So that's a good one for especially somebody trying to incorporate some rock into their wedding, which can be tough sometimes. So that's song 2, Blur.
Okay. Anything else? Any other songs that you would say?
Trying to think of some different ones you didn't name.
I'm sorry.
The old school. No, you did. It's all good. The old school Jock Jams is another one pretty good, where it's got a mashup of several songs, all upbeat and hyped up. So it's another good one there.
Okay. All right. So Jock Jams, and also you have you could probably throw in there if you really wanted to. If you want another rock one, you could probably Shoot Me All Night Long too, AC/DC. That great guitar intro, and all of a sudden you hear that bass line hit, and you start.
You could do Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck's another good one with the build up.
Thunderstruck, they have the drinking game.
Exactly.
Do you want to
waste that on the entrance?
You can waste it on the entrance. Let them drink on the dance floor and get everything going for a quick set before dinner. Because I am 100% about Thunderstruck only if I've got sparks going that night.
Well, the other thing, Bradley, I know you're Wisconsin, and Wisconsin drinking is very important to everyone, and especially in lacrosse. Code Blue
Oh yeah.
Cam, Code Blue Cam. That's there's a very heavy
Oh
camera
yes, it
on
is.
lacrosse.
One word of advice: if you're going to play Thunderstruck, though, do it in the last hour of your reception. Don't do it any sooner, unless you're intentionally trying to end your reception. I've
I don't
accidentally
know.
played
We
it
had
in like
someone
9 or 10, and I have killed receptions where even the bride and groom by 11 o'clock are like, "We're done. You were great." Splat. So yeah, if you could do it, that last hour is okay with Thunderstruck, but that's it.
All right, I think Jordan had to say something.
I beg to differ. We had someone come in on a motorcycle to Thunderstruck, and it was amazing.
It was badass. Ooh.
Oh my God!
I shot myself.
What can I say? Australian rock bands just do it for the world, mate. So
Okay, so Bradley or Jordan or Taylor or let's see, Paul. I'm getting all the names all messed up now. All right, so you three guys are all saying, AC/DC and drinking and bringing in motorcycles and stuff. I want to see a show of hands for everyone here. Who has done the drinking game with Thunderstruck? Who has done the drinking game with Thunderstruck?
Every time that they say
Never.
Kayla and Colin.
Oh yeah.
Never.
Okay. So
In
yeah,
the South, in the South, we don't do drinking games. We just have fun.
no, I've seen them in the South. They do.
I had some clients once tried to do a drinking game, and the venue manager came in and shut it down. He says, "You'll cease and stop doing this because we're not putting our liquor license at risk."
Well, here in Illinois, the liquor is free flowing because it's open bar, and they can't do shots.
But in Victoria, they have a thing called responsible service of liquor. So much so that every bar staff pretty much in Australia, all bar staff have to have what they call an RSA, responsible service of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And which means you can't serve them, irresponsibly and make a game out of it, or potentially contribute to drink driving and all that sort of stuff. So,
well, no, we don't want people drinking and driving. That would be very, very bad. But the thing is that again, if they have adult beverages, them how fast they can drink it. Again, it's. You're talking usually beers. You're talking usually mixed drinks. In Illinois, we can't do shots, so it's not a shot every time that for the song. And you're supposed to drink the drink until next person has thunder. And New Picard, which is Kevin in Ohio, he says he does them regularly. So that right there is always a big thing. Fred says I've never done a drinking game at a wedding. That sounds lit. They can be fun. They can also be fall down crazy drunk. So, Bradley, give me 2 more songs you have to you'd say for intro.
Well, let's see. One of my faves right now is definitely still Guetta's "I'm Good." I like, and the only thing I don't like about the song is how it, has the drop until the next vocal, but whatever. You can probably get some up and downs with it if you work everything correctly. And then one of my favorites, absolute all times, is Post Malone. Congratulations. Hands down.
I did. And go ahead.
No, okay. And I don't know why but honestly, it just seems fitting with your wedding party coming out to that more than maybe your bride and groom. But yeah, it's not, and I'm using the Mike D remix. I'm not using the real version of the song. So I'm playing it at 128 beats a minute. So it does make a little bit of a difference on the energy behind it.
I did one for an NFL player. I woke up in a Bugatti. And when the bass dropped in there, you hear the beginning part, and then when the bass dropped, that's when he came in on him and his wife. So yeah, that you get some unique stuff here and there for stuff, but I can see that. I'm gonna go back down to Paul. Paul, give me two more songs that you would
Okay.
recommend.
One is Bauer, Harlem Shake,
Okay.
and the other one I've maybe two or three times in the last 20 years I've played Michael Jackson's Jam. Yeah, so but the version with with the rap in it by I think it was Heavy D.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah, but other than that, I've had a couple come out to Yakety Sax. If you don't know what that is, that's the Benny Hill theme. So I've had a couple come out to that. That was quite comical and amusing. So, but yeah, other than that, I guess I've had people come out to oh, we want a classical song, something Baroque or something, whatever the case may be. But every couple is different, as you know, and it's like you can have something sort of eclectic or something energizing or something a bit more somber, but like most of the guys, I do prefer something with a bit of energy and something to pep the crowd up to, and their guests and stuff, and because then it's sort of, I guess it's a prelude to getting everyone on the dance floor. So it sort of builds the energy up. Sort of I don't know. Yeah, that's off the top of my head. Can't think of any other songs, but yeah, the Bauer one was fun. Because the Harlem Shake, if you know it, it sort of has that build up and then then the drop, and yeah, that was fun. So, but yeah, other than that,
it's just like a few other songs. Like you can go into Sandstorm. That's another big EDM drop with that. You can go to a couple others as well. Shay, what about you? What do you say would you your big three? If someone came up to you and said, "Hey, give me three songs that you may want to recommend."
Yeah, you guys already said a bunch of good ones. I really like my go-to is usually the one you said, buddy. Bring 'Em Out by T.I. That's like one of my all-time favorites. But if I had to say some new ones, another one I really like is Crazy in Love by Beyonce and Jay-Z. That one has been good for weddings, and then also couples that like hip hop. I've gotten a few for pepas recently, like when the basically I start at the lyric part and then have skipped to the drop, and people have been doing that one for a few intros. That's gone well. And then I always do it based on what the couples want and kind of what their genre, what kind of genres they like. So if they're like more of like a they like more old school stuff or more rock kind of stuff, I've had couples do Eye of the Tiger, which is another like timeless sort of classic entrance song. So a little bit different from the other two, but I like to offer them options based on the kind of music that they like.
Another good song to do is "Freaks" from Timmy Trumpet. You can start building that up. When them freaks at, and then you drop it, and they drop that bass line. They come in on that. So there's another
another great Australian artist.
See, look at that. Got some Aussies going on there. We had someone say in our last video about representing the Australians, and he was very happy that you're representing them, Paul. So we got always love having Paul here as well as DJ Dynablad. And unfortunately, again, I can't control who comes in. Everyone's here. It's here. But we love all our DJs that come in here, especially guest DJs. We love them too. Diego, what about you? What do you say your top three go-to songs?
So I do Spanish and English, so I can give you.
That's fine. Give it
I'll
both.
give you 6. All right. So
there you go.
I got a feeling a lot. Can't Stop the Feeling, Uptown Funk, and there's this one. It's called Club Can't Handle Me.
Oh, Club Can Handle Me Now. Okay.
Okay, I like that one. And then for Spanish, I either Vivir Mi Vida Cásate Conmigo, Danza Kuduro. Those are like very upbeat music, and that's what most Hispanic one they want to come in with, because it's just upbeat and just all of those are nice.
Those okay, and the Spanish ones are good because knowing more than one language, and again, it's great. This is why I love having a diverse panel here because you have different DJs that know different areas, and not everyone speaks English. There's Polish weddings, there's Russian weddings, every language you can think of, and if you have an area, if you do that kind of clientele, um, and you have someone who speaks another language, if you know what works with that group, what works with that language, that's a huge, huge thing. And especially like yourself, you're being bilingual. It's fantastic. Shay, do you speak another language, or are you just English only like me?
Yeah, so I do like Indian weddings a lot,
Mhm.
so Bollywood music, and kind of mixing Bollywood music and like pop music. So definitely, I'm kind of along the lines of Diego.
Okay. But do you speak like Hindi, or do you speak
I kind of do. I mean, like I was born here and stuff, but my parents are both Indian, and so I kind of understand it better than I speak it. But it helps with the music. I because especially for the music, and I'm sure it's the same way for anyone else that can understand a little bit of another language. Playing the music when you don't understand it at all is a lot harder than having a sense of what the lyrics are kind of saying and whether it's an appropriate time to play the certain song or not. So that definitely helps me a lot with the Indian music. And then like same thing. I'm sure for Diego with the Spanish music as well.
and that's an important thing, having those friends. This is one of the reasons here is having those bridges with other DJs that you can rely on, ask questions. Because I have a Bollywood wedding coming up later on the year, which I'm sure I'm going to be bugging you for some information because
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
it's one of the things if you're not used to a certain thing, or you want to make sure you have good depth of stuff and you present very well to your client. That's the important thing. I'm going to go to Dwayne. Dwayne, do you have any hidden talents? Do you speak another language, or do you do anything for introductions in other languages, or you just do the three?
I just do English. I do have a degree in middle school Spanish one.
There you
That's
go.
about it. But other than that, I don't have like a go-to, but my three favorites would be the wedding I did back in September, where they asked for the theme song from Friends, and I so happened to find like a remix, so I mixed the two. So the
Okay.
remix had more of a reverb kind of chorus that kind of like set the wedding party up, and as I introduced each one, it had like a metal tone to it. Then when it was time to bring out the bride, that's when I hit the main themes, the Friends theme song. That worked out pretty good. The other one would be Let's Go Crazy by Prince. So I started off by playing, the regular introduction. And then once he got into that doom, 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 that's when I introduced each party. And then after I said each person name, that's when I went into the guitar. The doom, 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 doom. Then go back and I dropped back to the low part. Then when we got to the bride part, I hit the main guitar part where it's super loud. So that went off real good. And the other one I didn't DJ at, but I saw was the Chicago Bulls theme. That
Oh, okay.
they did it that way.
Sirius from Ellen Parsons Project.
Yep. And I like the ones when see weddings when they do like the WWE themes kind of stuff.
That's always fun too. Yeah, I've done a few of the Bulls team ones. Of course, being here in Chicago, it doesn't hurt, But yeah, I can I kind of get that grunt of sound saying, when you go and now, you get that feeling for the Chicago Bulls. I can't do it 100% justice, but I give my best try. That's all we can do. And Pete just joined us. Pete, welcome,
Hi, guys.
sir.
Sorry I'm late.
No worries. Life gets in the way of things. Pete is out running around, working very hard, and is always a busy man. So we were talking. What are your best wedding entrance songs of all time? What is your top three? I'm trying to make sure to have enough is there 3 songs if someone came to you, a bride and groom, said, "Hey, I'm not sure what song I want to have for my introduction." Is there like 3 songs you're like, "Hey, these work really, really well"?
The Bulls intro is one of them.
Okay.
Although not as much as like in the 90s when it was really big.
Yes.
And like you, I tried to do that. And now, you know, I have Let's Get It Started by Black Eyed Peas, but I use the karaoke version up until the chorus hits. And I also throw in Fergie's little acapella at the beginning of the song. Let's get it started. So that's my attention getter. And then the karaoke version just goes into the bass line to do. And that's when I start introducing anybody. And hopefully I can get it all done by the time the chorus hits. Let's get it started. And then the other one that I like to use is actually it's off the Jock Jam CD. It's the Twilight Get Ready
Zone.
for This by Two Unlimited.
Yeah.
With the Michael Buffer intro.
Yeah, I actually have that CD. I actually got it from the thrift store.
That's a great CD.
Yes.
I love that mega mix that's on there, especially if you can get it with the full YMCA. But I love using that just for the energy. It's very high energy. You know, you get everybody's attention with Michael Buffer. I edited it down a little bit so it's not so long, you know. But you get the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, and you go into Two Unlimited, and very high energy. I love it.
Oh, whoop! There it is in there. That mega mix has so many different songs in there. So many
the
different,
mega mix.
you know,
I love the mega mix.
Tag teams in there. You know, tag team whoop where there is, and it's like every single '90s hit song you can throw in there. It's in that mix.
Yeah,
and that's a great thing. Jeff, I'm going to come to you in beautiful North Carolina. What would be 3 songs you would recommend as your all-time wedding intro songs?
Probably one of my favorites is Another One Bites the Dust. That's you know, the people get it, you know, when they all come in dancing to that. I was trying to think of another one that's you know, Shut Up and Dance is pretty good. And probably maybe a party rock anthem, you know, that's you know, that's it's got a really good beginning. So I mean, there's 3 off the top of my head.
Those are 3 good ones. You know, that's right there. There's no right or wrong, so you guys out there know there's no right or wrong on this list. It's like everything else I always say, different DJs, different thoughts, different areas, different markets, and different ways of doing things. And it's also different ages too of everyone. But we look at stuff that's popular to have people having fun. And I know Cool Thing, he's got some songs. He's always got songs in his pocket. What 3 songs would you give if a couple came to you and said, "Hey, I'm not sure what song I want. Give me 3 songs to choose for a intro"?
Well, I actually have like this past wedding, I use Can't Stop the Feeling. I would also use Happy by Pharrell Williams, and I would also use Blinding Lights by The Weeknd.
Okay, Blinding Light by The Weeknd.
Yeah, because when I DJ'd for my brother and sister-in-law, which, you know, she's Russian, and it was a Russian-American wedding, and they wanted Blinding Lights to walk into, so I played Blinding Lights.
Did you do the Polarisky?
I don't speak Russian, but my sister-in-law does, but I don't.
No? Oh, man, нет.
Нет, that's Vodanya. That's Vodanya.
Yeah, good.
I'll
see you later too. Das Vidanya Kobanich. You got to know at least a little bit of Russian. Got to watch those war movies. You hear it. Pick up
I know one or 2 swear words from Equalizer. So.
Yeah, I do watch Borat.
There you go. Well, no, he says Yak Shamash, which is actually Polish. And that means how are you doing? Have you eaten? Kind of thing. So when he says Yak Shamash, that's a Polish thing. That's not whatever language he's trying to pretend he is. It's kind of funny. He's a Brit trying to pretend he's something else, and I don't know. It's funny
Jewish shit. It's like it's funny.
Yeah, I'd much rather have him like when he was in Talladega Nights. You know, he was I liked his character in that much more. And of course, you know, Ricky Bobby running around saying he's on fire, invisible fire. Speaking of invisible fire, Chris left because he had the invisible fire, and he's back now. What 3 songs would you say if a couple came to you and said, "Hey, Chris, we don't know what to pick. What 3 songs would you like recommend to them?"
One I would definitely recommend is "Waiting for Love" of Avicii. You know, that one's a good, different starter. Very odd. It'd definitely work out for you if you can just get a right good mix for it. You know, as I've listened to that song many times, and I'm like, there's a couple remixes that just hit the spot, just a quick build up and get you into, you know, the days of the week to build up that love sense in the crowd. I don't have too many others. This last year, weddings have not been very kind to me this last year, so I don't really have too many others that are trending right now that are been very popular. So.
Well,
Just
even stuff
usually I
that you
find
could
out
say,
what the
hey,
guests like.
even it doesn't have to be popular, but something that you could say, this stuff has worked in the past pretty well. I like how this comes out for a couple, you know, for their intro.
Mm-hmm. I really can't think of anything right now. I really don't have clients that ask what a good intro song is. They either just want something very low key, and I've used a very basic, you know, beat track that works pretty well. You know, that's quite elegant. I've usually contracted this last year a lot with other companies, and they have this one track that they always use. So it's either that or the guests, the bride and groom already have a track they already want. So they just go to their standard. They don't do that customized stuff as much as I want to, you know. I always ask my clients.
Well, we always ask our clients too.
No, always.
Yeah, we always ask. It's always up to the client what they want, but sometimes they need guidance. Sometimes they need a little information. And I'd like to see a show of hands here on a wedding ceremony. And I know Jordan's a little busy right there, and his lovely wife is cutting his hair. So we don't want her cutting him. But if you can raise whatever hand you have free open. First thing first, if you're out there, give a like for Jordan getting a haircut live here on the show. And if you didn't know Taylor is a licensed stylist, and she can actually if you go in Northwest Indiana and you want to get a haircut, you can go to her salon and get a haircut, and make sure you tip her well.
You think she can do anything for me?
Pete, you and I think we got, I think we got a little look here. I think I can get there. So I want to see a show of hands. Now, how many people here do one song for the whole entire wedding introduction? That means parents, wedding party, and couple. How many people do one song for that? Just do one song?
Absolutely, I have.
Okay. How many people do 3 separate songs for the wedding? One for the parents, one for the
for the ceremony, or for the introduction?
No, this is for the reception. For the reception itself.
Introductions.
So for the introductions.
Yep. For the introductions, 3 separate songs. One for the parents, one for the wedding party, and then one for the couple. So 3 separate songs.
For me, it's
one song.
For me, it's based on the couple. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for me, it's based on the couple if they already have stuff planned.
Yeah.
I've done as many as
3.
one song per couple being introduced.
Oh, right there. I try to say no to that because that takes forever. Especially
we always do.
I've done that.
Songs for each person walking out. They just pick which song they want.
I like to encourage that because we also like to we encourage them to say something about the person, like not just this is Tina and Sam. This is the bride's sister, Tina.
Who loves long walks on the beach, Dunkin' Donuts, and basketball.
Runs on Dunkin'.
Sounds like the dating game.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line then? Is it more about the people there than the couple because it's their day and they're supporting cast?
We run it. We usually do it with the bride and groom and just
Sometimes they'll give us the information about each couple, and the couples don't know until they walk out, and then they hear.
we are trying to, not everyone in that room knows everyone in that bridal party. Some people work with these people, some people are family. So, it's nice to know this is their work bestie, and they always go on morning, way back to their morning trips to Starbucks or something. And I don't know.
I guess I kind of look at, and again, if anyone else here wants to, does anyone else do that like Jordan and Taylor do individual songs for each individual person?
Individual song, yeah.
Sometimes it's one song, but we try to do a song that matches those people's personality or something they would want.
A couple.
Yeah, I always try not to do that because the fact that, again, they're supporting cast. They're not main characters. It's like, the red shirts on Star Trek, they have a first name and that's it. They have no last name. Hey, Jim, go down there and go see what's going on versus, they're there for a few seconds to support the couple, but it's a couple's day. You want to say something,
Yes,
Bradley?
it is. But here in New York,
you're making a great point
I'm
with
sorry,
that.
Bradley.
But
Repeat that, Bradley.
one thing I've caught from Marbecca and the people who have taken it, along with Dean Carlson up north, and there's one Thomas Heath way up north in Canada, and they all are real big proponents of giving a little anecdote about each person in the wedding party, so they're not coming off as someone you don't completely know, but that is their supporting cast. So using that as your segue to build up for the main event of your couple. So each person has a critical role in why they're there and part of the wedding party that a lot of your guests should know about to endear them to the wedding party, so they're not just some random person. And so by the time you've gotten to your couple, you're getting everybody a little bit more hyped because the best man in maid of honor are right before your couple, and everybody knows that. So you're working the ladder or working the steps to get the end result you want.
Well, yeah, that you're always doing that, and again, usually the parents come out, parents of the bride, parents of the groom, or parent of bride one, or groom one, or groom two, bride two. The littles, if there's littles there, they come out, and then you go into the wedding party. Now, the big thing lately, we've run into it more and more last year, and probably more this year, is everyone coming out together. Hey, everyone, the wedding party, it's Bob, Jordan, John, Frank, and on the bridal party, it's Taylor and Missy and Michelle and Tina, and all these, they all come out to one song, and they go and they go do a crazy dance or something like that, and then the couple come out, and they're like high-fiving the couple or whatever on the floor. Have you guys seen that?
I'm in
I
full
haven't seen
support of
them come
that.
out after the bride and
I've
groom,
done that
but
too.
I have seen them do recently at a wedding I did at a barn wedding. They introduced all the bridesmaids, and then they introduced all the groomsmen as a separate track entity, and then they had the bride and groom's mothers come out together, and then the fathers come out together. That was really interesting that they did his and hers type of situation. It worked out well for this group because they were all literally in a niche community out in the middle of the big woods, and they all did community line dancing every freaking week because they had the whole entire facilities to themselves, because it was their barn, their community center for them. So everyone really all knew each other. That's the way they want to be introduced.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Chris, question for you. When you introduced the bridesmaids and the groomsmen, was it just, ladies and gentlemen, your bridesmaids? And
It
just
was
let
with
them-
their first names.
Or did you introduce each person's name as well?
It was all the names said at once when they all came out together.
Okay, because I've done it where it's just, ladies and gentlemen, your bridesmaids or your groomsmen or your wedding party.
That's done simple like that. But the bride and groom wants their people at least be recognized. These are people in my life that I chose. That the bride wants these people, to be recognized.
And ultimately,
They're important to them.
it comes down to what your bride and groom want.
Oh,
or
absolutely.
looking for, right?
Yes.
Because I've had the bride and groom where they wanted one song per couple. I've done the little anecdotes or make up little funny little lines, almost like
Oh, absolutely.
almost like a newlywed game introduction, where oh, this couple's been married for 2 years, and she's completely mad about the fact that he keeps leaving cracker crumbs in the bed. It's stupid stuff like that, funny stuff. And I say stupid in a good way. It's like just to throw a little bit of humor into it.
And get this. I actually did a wedding about 4 years ago. It was for my cousin, and I almost forgot to introduce my aunt and my uncle, the mother and the father of the bride.
Oh, that's why you should have everything written down in a flow pattern and understand what's going on, what's happening, man. So again, I'm seeing, I see a chat going. Fred, I see your little thing. No, I'm not ignoring you. I'm letting everyone talk a little bit. I'm gonna go back to you guys. Don't worry about it. I see Adrian came in here. Good evening. For intros, no particular order. Bring them out. T.I. Don't Stop the Party, Pitbull. And I recommend an instrumental version of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. And he said you have to you have a packed house here right now. Great, good job. Okay, well, thank you. You thank everyone here. We got a lot of great DJs here, including the stylish DJ. So, and we got from all around the country. Basically, we got East Coast, West Coast represented here. Now, wait, Pretty Boy and Shay, you guys. Oh, see, now you're representing West Coast. Oh man. Oh man, now we're gonna hopefully no fights here. We're all about love and having fun and DJing. Nothing bad here. Let's see here. Kevin says sucks doing more. Adrian says I've done one song and I have done a song for every couple. I shy away from that. I'm not a big fan for that. And the other thing, I only want to use first names. The last name should be spoken should be the couple's last name. That's the way I look at it. There's also a few other people. I'm going to do a little name dropping here. Jay Brannon, which you've seen him on Disc Jockey News with Pioneer. I've talked to him plenty of times. He's same mindset I am in. First name only for the wedding party, and then last name for the couple. If they're changing names, they're not changing names, then it's first name only for them as well. Fred says, make it all intros in one track. See, I don't want to make one track for all the intros. I don't pre-mix it unless there's we're editing.
Well, it's not necessarily mixing it. It's so much as just laying the songs in one file, but putting in one song after another. And then you can use your playout software to set cue points.
But the
this only thing is something I picked up from Rachel, actually.
That's how I do mine too, especially doing big entrances with multiple songs. One track, set your cue points, best way to handle it.
Because I used to do it where I would, load each song as I was doing the next one. It never occurred to me to do it as one big file and just set the cue points.
Shay is
I know if we're the DJ, we're the ones also doing the MC work.
Yeah. I've never done that. See, what I do is I build a playlist of the introductions. I put them in order, and I just load them as I go.
Yeah, and having done that, it can be kind of cumbersome when you're working by yourself.
Yes.
So you don't have a board
You can
op.
skip a song by accident.
Yeah.
So it's better to record the whole thing, have cue points, like Pete said, just have the cue point. I have to do that a lot when I do quinces, because all the kids want to come in with their own song.
Oh yes.
So I have to make
quinceañeros, same thing with all that.
I have to make the whole thing, and then I just set cue points because it happened to me when I first started. I totally forgot one song. Well, I didn't forget it. I had it there. It's just I chose the wrong one. And I was like, since then, I was like, I'm gonna record it and I'm gonna keep it because it's
Pretty Boy, isn't it even worse when they change the order around for lighting the candles at a Sweet 16? I've had that many times. They miss their own order, and then who gets blamed? Always the DJ. But that's okay. We recover from it quickly. It's how we do it.
Well, that's another advantage to setting up the cue points is okay, you know, somebody walked in out of order. So hopefully, you know, you've already lined them up in the order they're supposed to be introduced. But if for some reason somebody decides they need to go next, or they
Yeah.
make a last minute change, even with the cue points, you can see who's at the door or who's coming in.
Well, even at a
Okay,
Sweet
we
16,
just
if
skip to
the
that pad, you know.
if the birthday girl actually wants to change her candle ceremony around for someone else to do this candle in this order, that makes a big difference, and that's what
Yeah.
you got to be everything on the fly with that.
Mhm.
You know,
But I'll tell you, seeing Rachel's suggestion to do that, that was like one of those. It's like, why the hell didn't I think of that?
Mhm.
You know, it was like an aha moment.
And
I got that on YouTube too.
I also saw it on Rachel, but in my head I was like, why didn't I put this in like on a video? I should have done this on the video.
Yeah, right.
Man, Rachel,
They
did
the
you,
only
dude?
downfall is if these guys are really slow getting out and they need more time because they're still pumping up the crowd themselves and people are cheering the individual on. How much time
You can
do
just let
leave
the
them?
song
That's
play.
the only downfall. that I
Record
see.
record the whole song back to back.
Yeah.
Line all your songs up while
It's like 30
recording
minutes.
cue
Yeah, you just make it
point
super
on
long.
each song.
Or you know, if you
What
don't
I-
have editing software or something, get Odyssey, and you can just you don't even have to record it real time. You can just throw it into the multi-track and then just save the file.
That's what someone else said, Odyssey. Someone else, Adrian E said, well, Kevin said Odyssey. Adrian E said, I think we should milk the intros and take our time with them. Yes and no, because Adrian, you're here. You know how a lot of venues here are. I know Pete's here. Brentley is, somewhat here. A lot of venues here in the Chicagoland area. I can speak for that. And same thing with Jordan and Taylor. They are very much, they want to start their dinner service on time, and they want to push that out. And
Like that happens.
well, it doesn't always happen on time. They want to be on time, and we try to get on time as much as possible.
You know, even taking the venue out of it, I think if you milk it too long, you're just going to drag it out. I mean, the applause is for each couple is going to die down at some point, right?
People get bored.
Keep the energy going. And I was going to go back to this with the songs for introductions. Is I like to coach my couples to do something really energetic, upbeat, a lot of energy, because you want that energy in the room. You want the hype in the room, right? Which is why I use stuff like Two Unlimited and Black Eyed Peas. But you're defeating the whole purpose of that if you're milking each introduction, right? Introduce them, get them in. You know, they get to a certain point, you introduce the next couple and keep it going.
Yeah,
I'm lucky because I
My
have
feeling anyway.
I'm lucky because I have Tracy and we split MC work, and she can actually meter people in, and she actually announces the people there. So she has her cards, she had some people lined up, and she's actually able to do that. So I have a little bit of advantage over a lot of the other guys and girls here. They may be by themselves, they may be with another person, versus, I'm lucky enough to have Tracy there to do that. So not only she does time management and coordination side, but also her and I split MC work. So like she'll do the introduction, she'll introduce people for speeches, I'll do the dances, cake cutting, that kind of stuff. So we meter off each other, and we have cues, so we look for each other and make sure we're on track of everything. But the question I have for the panel, like what Pete was talking about, is that something that you do now, right now, have the song line up and have cue points and just go cue point to cue point to cue point on those songs for the introductions? Who here does that now, as far as doing that with the cue points for introductions?
If I'm doing one song per couple, yes. If I'm only doing like one or two, one for the wedding party and one for the bridal couple, then generally no.
Yeah, exactly. It depends how many songs there are.
if it's like 1 to 3 songs, then you can do it just like normal.
Yeah,
But if
that-
it's more than
Regular,
that, like 4, 5,
playlist
6.
loaded.
You need to have. It's better to have it in a, on a.
I'm quick mixing that crap, man.
It's not a,
I
it's
am-
not a mix.
Only thing I'm marking on those things is my vocal drop, like I do for any other track, and I will quick mix that whole intro if I have to.
Yeah, but again, these aren't mixes that we're making. We're
I
just
know.
laying the songs back to back.
Oh,
and
I know,
using the
but
cue
I'm not
points to
even
get to
doing
the
that.
next part.
I'm
just
lucky
too much
enough to
work.
have Taylor, so
Yeah.
I've had to switch. The most I've ever had to switch song wise for a wedding party was 24 songs, and I did it.
Wow.
I did it. It was a huge wedding, huge.
yeah, it was.
I think, like Buddy said, it depends too. If you have a dedicated MC and then someone that just does the DJing,
Yep.
when you're trying to do both, it's nice to have one less button to have to press, scroll down, load. It's one less step to think about. That's why I like making the mega medley, I guess. Whatever.
The max I've done was 19 songs in a listing, and that was long. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that was long.
I
But
did
it was
18.
only literally 15 seconds per the clip. It was just their clip, and they literally ran because luckily they did not have far to go. You know.
But here's the thing to think about when you run into a couple that wants that. This is the thing to talk to them. And I've talked to Jay about this plenty of times, and he's told people about, like, you're going to wait a few minutes before everybody gets there. And when Pete touched on earlier, it's that fatigue of applause. You know, when Adrian says kind of milk it or stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, they get fatigue after applauding. Okay, it's Bobby. Oh, it's Susie. Oh, it's, you know, they kind of get, you know, a little bit of fatigue from clapping. Their hands are hurting, or they're like, oh, really? Another one. So that's why, you know, you want to get it done and get done fairly quickly and get through fairly quickly. And that's another reason why I'm not a fan for individual songs and having, you know, 24 songs like Taylor had to go through, which is just...
It was fun. I did it.
Was
I just, you know, switched cue points, and I have my cue points written down on my sheet in my order, and I just bam, 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 bam.
Wasn't it 38 people in the bridal party though?
It was something ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
All right, so I want to see a show of hands, and we're going to go through really quickly here on size of weddings. Who here has done weddings 80 or less? So you can keep your hand up. 80 people or less. 100 or less. Keep your hand up if you're 100 or less. 130 or less. 150. 180. 200. 250. 280.
Yeah.
310.
You went too far.
360.
I was
380. 400. 450. 500. 550. 600. Okay, 550 or less. Okay. So again, Brentley's got the most here, 550 people. That is a lot of people to go through, and a lot of things you need to have working there. And that's why when you
Is
have
that in the wedding party?
yeah, that wedding party must have been huge.
Can you imagine that introduction? It was like
No,
the whole
The
6 hours.
scary thing was the wedding party it was like 535 total head count in the lacrosse center in their new ballroom. So you can fit 600 people in this room. But even with 535, it was tight. And the wedding party wasn't that big. It was 5 and 5 plus the bride and groom. But maybe their parents were in that too, but that was it. But having to have enough sound to cover that many people and how to place it around the room was a real challenge.
Stop.
My 380 person wedding, they did a receiving line.
Jeez.
What's that?
Oh, wow.
A receiving line?
Wow.
That's when the parents and the wedding party and the couple stand by the entrance of the door and greet every person coming in.
Wow.
Okay.
Kind of like when the royal family come to visit diplomats.
Nobody ever
Hello.
does that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a funeral.
Yeah.
That's what we do at funerals.
You'd also do it at weddings too. If you certain,
I've seen it. I didn't know that's what it was called.
You
yeah,
can do
that's
that
a
at
receiving
a
line.
wake or visiting.
I don't see it much anymore.
I've never seen
Probably
that.
seen it like a couple times. in the last
If
5
it was
years.
me, I'd
Never
just do
seen
like
that in-
I'd just do like the wrestlers when they come down the run and just put your hand out and give high fives to everybody.
Yeah, right.
That's what you're kind of wanting to do. It's like a lot of people, and it's crazy when you get that kind of stuff and you get that many people, especially when you get into a big room that holds 300, 400, 500 people, and you have that 200, 300, 400, 500 person, whatever the size wedding, it's one of the things you always ask, do you have everything you need? And like the one wedding I did at the convention center in Tinley Park, that was 260. And it's like, you look at that size of the room, you look at the amount of people there. The last song of the night, and again, videos on YouTube, the last song of the night, people were having fun and there's just, dance and stuff. But it is pretty crazy when you have a big wedding like that, because you can play almost any song and people are you're gonna have at least 10 people on the dance floor, at least, when you have a big wedding like that. And I'm sure, Mr. Diego's done some quinceaneras that have a lot of people, because usually those are pretty big, like weddings. I'm sure Shay has seen it. Jeff, you've done some school dances with, tons of kids. What's the biggest school dance you've done, Jeff?
700.
700.
Wow.
Just think about it. 700
Yeah, it was
people
crazy.
there.
High school?
Yeah.
Is that your son's
Yeah,
high
and I
school?
got another one coming up in April.
Is that a
Probably
prom or
about
homecoming or just a regular dance?
between probably 500 and 600. So
Was that prom or homecoming?
that was prom.
Okay. That makes sense.
I've done 1,500 people, but that was in a club. I was a warm up DJ for the first 3 hours of the night, and 1,500 people in the club. So it was like, that's sort of pretty electrifying. But yeah, always
remember
exciting.
my own prom.
Hey,
That
buddy,
was-
a
Yeah.
good topic will be for a future episode would be how embarrassing is it to have to call out table numbers in a
Oh my God, I
large
hate doing
wedding, and
I hate doing
everybody's
that.
looking at you because they're last on the list of numbers, and you are the bad guy.
You start getting dirty looks because people
Talk about that.
That's we don't do that. That's thank God I have Tracy. And Jeff, if I were you, I'd grab your son and say, "You're coming with me tonight because I'm not calling out tables. You're going up to the table and releasing people." That's what Tracy does. I'm thank God I have that. And if you have that, I want to see a show of hands. Who has had to call out table numbers? Who has called out table numbers at a wedding?
Never in my life. Never in my DJ career.
I don't.
Ever.
We avoid that.
I haven't called them out, but I've had to release tables or invite tables up to
Oh yeah.
to the buffet. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
tell
what I'm
you-
talking
Yeah,
about.
I had to do that as well.
I
I
won't-
had to do that as well.
I
won't call
reckon they
numbers.
should bring in a system where you take a ticket, like when you go into the DMV or something, and you grab a ticket number, and you grab number 47, and yet they're only serving number 12.
Yeah.
See,
I won't
this is
call numbers, but I will go to each individual table. The only time I've actually gotten on the mic and played any games is when they do trivia, either about the couple or have some special arrangement and names for each table where they're like, we want you to read this about each table because we're talking about the people at each table.
Yeah.
And
that's
it was
what-
kind of like, if you can figure out who these people are or who this is, you can go eat kind of joke. So there were a couple different games I've played where I'll have to use the mic. But otherwise, I'm walking to each individual table and making it, saying hi to them, because later in the night, it endears them to you to walk up to you and feel comfortable about, hey, can you play this song for me? Because it's no longer this cold person behind a DJ booth. You've met them, you've said hi to them. One of my best ever intros from one of my most epic weddings where a whole table was talking about something very adult and sexual. And so I walk up to him like, speaking about meat, your dinner is ready. The woman at the table who was the big speaker about said act spits her drink out across the table. The guys drop what they're doing, look at me like, dude, that was awesome. And they were the first people on the dance floor when I kicked things off that night. So just that little interaction, every chance you get, will help make the experience not just for your couple, but their guests that much better.
Here's one other thing you can do. Trace and I have done this a couple times, and it has backfired a little bit. You know how people love to grab, a cup and ding the cup for the couple to kiss? Well, we give couples an option, and this is purely an option, to give us a list of couples who are there. And instead of the couple has to kiss, as well as additional couple has to kiss. So you're calling out couples for them to kiss as well as the bridal couple. So you have, it's okay. It's, it's a bridal couple, and then it's, this other couple got kissed too. A lot of times it taps it down very quickly, but one wedding we did, they went bonkers on it. They're like, by the time we got that, we went through the list twice because it was almost constantly them banging because they wanted to see the couple kiss and they wanted everyone else to kiss too. And the bad side about that, it drags on dinner because the couple can't eat, and then all these other people are running around, so it can't drag on. But that's something you might want to think about doing to stamp down the banging on dishes and stuff like that for hey, it's time to kiss,
I don't think I've ever-
romance like banging on a glass.
Yeah, be careful
I
trying
don't
to
think
do
I've
that
ever-
at a Greek wedding.
I never did anything like that because we use plastic solo cups.
They find other things to bang. Beer bottles. They find
Or
things. I
the
mean,
bang the
it's-
table, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Greeks are very enthusiastic at weddings. Greeks and, people from, that part of the world,
Albanians.
Baltic states and, Albanians and, they're super enthusiastic with all that kind of stuff. That they love it, so.
Going back to what Jeff had said about the last table in line looking at you like you're the one keeping them from eating.
This is what you're getting.
The way I found to get away, or that's a good reason for doing like the bridal trivia, and the tables are then responsible for who goes up next because it's whichever table answers the question correctly first is the next table that can go up. Right. So you're putting the onus on the tables now instead. So they can't look at you like, well, you kept us from eating, or, you didn't send us up next. Put the onus on them.
There you go. There you go. That's another idea right there. If someone wants to really have you call tables for a buffet, instead of doing that, make it a fun thing and make it about them. They have to win. They want to win. They're hungry to win. They're hungry to eat then,
Yeah.
So we've been through an hour already. And let's see here. Fred said Pete is spinning it straight facts. Adrian said, what happens if the wedding party order changes after you record their tracks?
Well,
Yeah.
that's what the cue points are for, because which couple has which song, right? If you labeled your cue points correctly, you know which couple is which. All right. So instead of hitting cue point 3, you hit cue point 4.
Unless
Fred
it
said you
changes.
could reassign your cue points, which is, yeah, and I do virtual DJ. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Adrian said 300. Fred said it's over 9,000. You had a wedding with over 9,000 people, or are you saying that total over 9,000 people we've done at weddings, total? Adrian says I have, and then Fred said that the cool thing has he has southern weddings,
Yeah. Small towns. Yes, it's a small town.
Yeah, he's well. Again, you're kind of a smaller town there,
Yeah.
but you are a summer town, and also you have the great hot dog stand you're gonna go to this summer and have some hot dogs there on the beach and enjoy yourself. So,
Yeah, definitely.
so with that said, we have a lot of fun things going on here, including Jordan's almost done with his beard trimming now. He's looking good right there. So,
Yeah.
thank you thank you.
I was
Taylor,
waiting for the straight edge to come out. The
Yeah.
straight razor.
I don't like that much to make him look that good.
You
I like
should
that.
have went with the Amish look and lose the mustache and just take the Amish look.
Get rid of the
and just
mustache. Get rid of the mustache. Go all beard.
See you dance like the bearded DJs. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man. Well, we got two DJs with three DJs with beard. Dwayne and Sean and Jordan. So there's 3 DJs with beards. Shay's got a little scruff. Shay's got a little scruff.
I got a scruff going on.
I had a shave before I came on. Hadn't shaved for 2 weeks, so yeah, I look like I look like a homeless DJ.
Isn't that driving nuts, Paul?
Well, with that said, another great show has ended. We want to thank you all for tuning in and watching. Let's see who wants to take us out tonight. I am going to actually pick Jordan, because they haven't been here for a bit, and he looks so great with his haircut,
Oh yeah.
and he always does a great job on the outro. Jordan, why don't you take us away, brother?
Thanks for joining in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good night.
Peace.
Good night,
Thanks for
everyone.
having us, buddy. Nice meeting you guys.
Nice talking to you.